Dang, y'all was in here early, wasn't y'all? Okay, I will wait for y'all to get back. Not a big deal. I mean, I ain't with all night, but I mean, I hold up in here for y'all for a little bit, but little bit, not real long time. Um, and like I said, for me. Um, I guess this deep dive ain't gonna be. It might be deeper for some than it is for others. Let's let's put it like that. I'm waiting for y'all slide on up in here. A couple more y'all get up in here. Y'all probably just recovering and recouping from Theo's live. And we know sometimes his lives can be, understand me, a little bit much. But like he said, he in here for a good time, not a long time. Understand. Uh Other than that, y'all, how we been doing? How y'all doing? I'm grabbing some things. Ha 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 ha. I'm smart. Okay. That one. Okay, that is that one. All right. I had to get me a couple of screenshots to accompany my narration of this. I see Kamayo in the building. What's going on, my friend? Same stuff, different day. You know how we do it. Hey, Grandmadam in the building. One of my favorite peoples to have in live because she asks some real live questions. But like I said, we're gonna be diving deep into like 1988, 89 is what I'm going to say. Because in 88, 89, whether we realize it or not, that was the year of T'Challa. At least some of that year was the year of T'Challa. Uh, don't even trip. I'm gonna get y'all laced up with all the particulars. Uh, and we're gonna get down for this get down, man. I just want to make sure all the people that's coming is coming, because once I start, I'm gonna be started and I ain't stopping until I'm finished. That sounds weird, but true nonetheless. still that's still how it is. That's how it's gonna be. So don't don't be upset, y'all. I got a few things, ready and cooking in the oven. Uh, and I just want to make sure everybody is on deck for it. Y'all on deck for it. We'll move into it and do it. What we got here? We got a Nancy in the building. Hey, what's going on, Nancy? Um, got called kinky. Huh. Anyway, we're gonna keep some, and where I ain't worried about it. He got some things to do. He probably said he did say he was getting something to eat. All right, now, for those of you that just pulled up because you like me, first, thank you. Second, for those of you that pulled up for particular information and edutainment, I got you too. Um, Give you a real quick history lesson. Um, Before we get off into what we're going to get off into. Excuse me. I am so sorry about that. Yeah. You got an OnlyFans? Um, confession. Um, I did have an OnlyFans page, but it was not to be kinky and it was not to hook up with people. I'm the type of person, I'm like this, and I'll just be honest with you. Muzz can tell you anything's going on somewhere, but if you don't go and see it for yourself, it's talk. You know what I'm saying? You listening to talking. I see these things. And so now when these random women come at me and be like, hey, friend me and follow me and all of this, but I know what you really doing on an OnlyFans page. How that song go? I'm not effing with you. Period. Let me close up and we get started. Don't nobody want the sounds of a dryer bouncing that around in the while they trying to talk. She said, "Come on, your it is actually more than nasty, kinky, filthy people on OnlyFans. It is more than horny teachers that like to sleep with middle school students. It is more. There's a lot more on there than that. Unfortunately, though, because that's what you hear the most about. That's what people go in there and that's how I know, because I know that ain't all that's in there. So, but unfortunately, they the ones making bad for everybody else. But anyway, that's not why I'm here today. I I am not here to discuss what goes on OnlyFans. All right, so let me bring you to. Well, let's start it. Let's start out here first. She said cooking recipes. Low key. Anyway, I ain't even gonna get into it. Oh, Kamoyo, you say you're gonna go see Badlands this weekend. Yes, please do. I got something I'm gonna say about Predator Badlands, because I got a comment and somebody, telling me what I saw and all of this type stuff. I don't like that. If you're a person that want to tell somebody what they saw because you believe what critics say, PHOUCK, a critic. Okay? Because 10 different people can go to the same movie and have 10 different opinions. So don't tell me about critics. That is why I do movie reviews, because I feel like critics get paid to give a certain opinion. Ain't nobody paying me for my opinion. So my opinion is 100. I ain't got no reason to spin it one way or the other. But I don't, we 10 minutes in and I ain't talked about the comics yet. But let's do this. First of all, thank y'all for coming. And y'all about to be blessed tonight, because you're going to get a little more than insider information tonight. Tonight, I am going to be talking about that book, or at least the series of books that follow that book. This is Marvel Comics Presents issue number 13 from 1988. I remember when I collected issue 1 back in 1987, when they had Wolverine on the front cover in the brown suit, bearing his claws. Hang on a second. No, it better not be on Roku. Prey is probably on Roku, but if Predator Badlands is on Roku, I'm gonna be fit to be tied. But anyway, back to this. This began a story by Rick Leonardi Gene Colan. Actually, it's 3 or 4 little mini stories together every month. But Colossus's story and, of course, Panther's Quest were the stories that ran through this book for, I want to say, from issue 13 to like, I want to say issue 30. It's 30, issue 30 something. I will tell you specifically. Here we go, because bam. Well, I have the trade paperback, but Marvel presents. So I'm not lying to you. I want you to know how many. Issue 13 through 37. Okay, that is why you get a book this big, this thick, that captures every chapter of that story. Now, as everybody knows, if you have ever come to my page, this book is filled with the art of Gene Colan. Everybody knows I ain't crazy about the art of Gene Colan. Here's the reason why. Real simple question. Is T'Challa in that image leaping or flying? I know he's leaping, but that looks very much like flying. So that's one of the issues I have with Gene Colan's art, because it always looks so static. You know what I mean? It looks, rather than it being images of ongoing motion, it looks static. Even like he's jumping off of a rock doing a flip. The stuff that's supposed to depict motion doesn't even look like motion to me. But anyway, what the hell is this story about? Anyway, this is the story that y'all always hear about. This is the story that introduced us to Ramonda, Queen Mother Ramonda. But in this story, she was just Ramonda. She was Ramonda who had been kidnapped and taken to South Africa and given to this sadistic, twisted, weird guy who continually abused and SA'd her for a long time. And initially, T'Challa thought that his mother, who we later find out through retcons, is his stepmother. Thank you, Reginald Hudlin. But we find that they learned, because they thought she was dead, and they found out that she was alive, and T'Challa is immediately across the border, sneaking around, checking stuff out. And now, this was a time when T'Challa didn't have the vibranium weave costume. So whatever he dealt with, he was dealing with it with his bare hands. You know what I mean? And his bare outfit, because case in point, my man gets thrown on barbed wire. You know what I'm saying? But he's walking it off. He's walking it off. Only to later have that happen to him. You getting beat on a barbed wire fence. Now, what happened in the 80s with T'Challa is we learned he could take a lot of punishment. We learned that in Jungle Action, in Don McGregor's Jungle Action run, that Black Panther could take a lot of punishment. So here's my question. Is it cooler to see a character take punishment and press on regardless of that punishment? Or do we want to see that character take punishment and immediately heal from it? If you say one or the other, you're still wrong, because Moon Knight was wildly popular and Wolverine was wildly popular. Both of those characters took massive amounts of damage in their adventures. One recovered from it immediately, one did not, but both were lauded for it. T'Challa goes through hell physically. And he even gets like a bear trap or an animal trap that snaps shut on his ankle, and he's still banging. He's still fighting. He's still getting at people in this run. Now, people are, look, and then on top of that, he getting shot at. You running through barbed wire, you getting shot at, you jumping through trees, you falling, and you end up like this. That's T'Challa on the ground in a pool of blood. But he kept going. He kept going. Now, did we think it was cool that he was getting hands laid on him by people, but he was still managing to persevere through all of this? Did we give credit to T'Challa for his levels of durability? Now, remember, this is the late 80s. And I told you who issue number 1 of Marvel Comics Presents showcased. And we knew Moon Knight was around in the 80s, particularly that Doug Minch run. So they were all out there at the same time, but wasn't nobody talking about nothing but Moon Knight and Logan. They were all taking the same kind of damage. They were all going through the same kind of stuff, but yet and still, the only person we didn't talk about, and he was doing that back in the 70s with Jungle Action. When Billy Graham was doing the pencils, his outfit was still ripped to tatters. He was still busted, broken, and bleeding, and still fighting. That's why we care so much about T'Challa, because we know all of this. We know that that's what he dealt with and what he went through. Guy finds him on the side of the road, like, "Hey, come on, walk with me, fella, and let's get you where you trying to go to." He's still T'Challa. Again, you're doing a flip and kicking somebody, but that looks static. Again, thanks, Gene Colan. Still, we like a couple, we still bleeding. Still bleeding. Okay, he bled through this whole story. What kind of credit do we give him for that? He bled through this whole story to get at his mama or stepmother, we later find out. All of that. All of that. And don't get me wrong, it's a very engaging, engrossing story. Why? Because number one is Don McGregor. And number two, Don McGregor has always put respect on T'Challa's name. Matter of fact, if we talking about the first guy to really, really put respect on his name outside of the people who created him, that'd have to be. Yeah. So whose stories are more intricate and more, you know what I'm saying, double-sided, I guess is the best way I would describe it. But this was one story, surprise, surprise, where T'Challa's throne is not being threatened. At least not openly, and at least ain't nobody saying it, because this story, most of it takes place in South Africa. Oh, a different location other than Wakanda. And we have wove an entire story around it. You see what I'm saying? So in the larger scheme of things where T'Challa is today, we do not have to focus on the throne. We do not have to focus on threats to the throne whenever we have a Black Panther story. Okay. Red and Imperial, he has been restored to the throne. King and Emperor. King, Emperor T'Challa. Can we get off that now? What else you want to see besides him being the king? Yay, he's the king. He's the king now. So now you want it to be a threat. I don't be seeing threats to Namor's throne all the time. I don't see threats to Arthur's throne. Well, I ain't going to say I don't see threats, but the stories don't revolve around a threat or challenge to the throne. And it shouldn't. If you're the reigning king of the most technologically advanced country on the planet, whether it comes internal or external, if you are technologically advanced, you should have some gray matter. And if you have gray matter, you should know how to deal with internal struggle other than saying, we don't like the king. We must get rid of T'Challa. He is not a good king anymore. And that same trope is going to come up in that 1988 limited series that I'm going to be talking about in a little while too. And you'll see, like, the vast majority of his stories are always about a challenge or the throne being in jeopardy or a usurper of some sort. Why? Yeah, everybody. I get it. I would want to be the king of the most technologically advanced country on the planet too. Absolutely. Now, again, there are some nice fight sequences. Again, T'Challa, he's kicking her. Somebody's getting kicked in the face. Yeah, that's arguing. It's debatable. But he took on gangs and gangs of South Africans. Beat their asses too. And he's going around and he's, crawling through stuff and he's literally cutting himself as he's creeping and crawling around and stuff. So enough cannot be said about T'Challa's durability, perseverance. This is all through South Africa. This ain't him going straight to South Africa, boom, popping up. Hey, there's mom. Let's go home. Speaking of which, when we finally do get to a place in this book where we need to see somebody pay for what happens to his mother, or for what happens to his mother. Surprisingly enough, the man who SA'd, kidnapped, and abused his mother/stepmother for years, he ain't kill him. Now I know we say to ourselves, if something happened to my mama, if I came face to face with a man who has been SAing my mama for years, and the way the dude came at him, it wasn't even, it was crazy. Like, if I remember, I'm going to look, but if I remember correctly, T'Challa is in the compound and he's raising hell. He's wrecking shop, beating people down. Big giant South African dudes getting at him, and he's handling his business with old boy. And comes in and dude is talking to Ramonda, and he's like, "Oh, it's people doing this and that and this and this." And T'Challa creeps into the room and he turns around and goes, "Oh, hello, T'Challa. This is the cat who has been the source of all the grief, the barbed wire, the bear traps or the monkey traps or whatever they are, where you get your ankle caught up in them in South Africa. All kinds of stuff. People shooting at him, beating him, stabbing him, all of this. To get there and be face to face with the person you know has been the cause of all the suffering. And all he got to say is, "Oh, hello, T'Challa." Bruh, that'd be enough right there. You know what I'm saying? To just, I'd be beating. I'd be putting hands on him. Just to say the least, I'd be putting hands on him. Now, here we are, right at the end. Leg in a trap, getting ready to get attacked by a dog. You know what I mean? He's fighting his way through it. He can't even get the trap off because his fingers keep slipping in the blood. He's bleeding so much, but he finally manages to get it off. And beats the dog with the trap. Now, when he finally gets to this compound, it runs into this big fella on the tennis court, and they get to scrapping. And he trying to drown T'Challa, and T'Challa like, "Nah, I ain't going out like that today," and puts hands on my man, finishes him off. Now, this the bad guy. There he is right there. "Ramonda, I can't contact Gore. Madness outside. Servants, tell me." And he turns around, sees T'Challa, and that's all he got for T'Challa. That's all he got. "Hello, T'Challa." Just take his glasses off and, "Hello, T'Challa." Bruh, you know he here for his mama. You know that's why he's here. And you're just calm, nonchalant. Well, we see how T'Challa responds. And what did he say? Let's listen to the hero that we have so much admiration for. "You stand there and calmly say hello to me after you have stolen my mother from my father and me, after you imprisoned and her, after you have given order upon order to have me killed?" His response, "What else can I say?" That's a villain. I don't know Paul Martin here, but that's a villain. He's evil for evil's sake. But T'Challa says to him, "I think of myself as a man of peace. Perhaps I lie to myself." Though I have found myself thrust into brutal conflicts, some that ended in death, still it was never my intent. I would prefer to go through life without having to kill another being. After all that he went through in this book, he would prefer not to kill another human being. This is T'Challa with regular claws, not anti-metal ones. Because he's scratching people all through this book. They're bleeding, but they ain't dying. So this story clearly takes place before T'Challa's upgraded arsenal to the vibranium weave and the anti-metal claws. Because if he always had anti-metal claws, then everything he put his claws on would be torn apart at the molecular level. So T'Challa can fight without having all these extra accoutrements. You see what I'm saying? We always, T'Challa need them claws. T'Challa need that suit. No, he don't. He's durable AF. So why does he need that? These are some takeaways. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you want somebody to put respect on T'Challa's name, bring up Panther's Quest. Whenever you want somebody to put respect on T'Challa's name, bring up Panther's Rage. Because he's taking a beating and he still keeps moving. He still, not only does he keep moving, he keeps performing at a high level. Heart-shaped earth. When we debate about T'Challa, bring the stamina and durability into the conversation, because that is something that demands respect. Taking a beating on barbed wire and still walking away from it takes respect. Getting a knife stabbed in you, in your front, in your back, in your side, all while getting beat up. Now, he chose not to kill this man, which I say is 150%. If that's you, dog, if that's how Don McGregor believes he is, all right. Again, the whim of the writer. Same as Batman. You are at the whim of the writer. If the writer say T'Challa murking everybody on the spot, guess what? But before we say that, we got to say, what is T'Challa's makeup? What is his makeup mentally? Is T'Challa bloodthirsty? Is T'Challa the kind of person that's just going to come through like Logan and stab you? Is T'Challa the kind of person that's going to come through like Mark Spector and break both your arms and your legs? I don't agree with it. Personally, I don't agree with it. My name ain't Don McGregor. We think at the end, the bad guy should have got what he deserved. What does a person deserve for SAing somebody's mother for years? I know y'all can think of some creative stuff. Let me see what's going on in the comments here. Mario say T'Challa had insane durability. Yes, he did. To be taking those kind of beatings and still be in there swinging and swiping at folks, yeah, he got very, very high durability. On a scale of 7, I'd put his durability at like a high 5. High 5. Anyway, all that and all T'Challa has is a stiff shoulder without the vibranium suit. He, again, Grand Madam, he's a lot more durable than people give him credit for. He what did he fell off a pterodactyl high up in the sky into a river. Not a lake, not the ocean, a river. And lived through it. T'Challa suffered as much as he did bordered on fetishism to me. Yeah, kind of. But I find that we get a different story and we get a different aspect of T'Challa in the late 80s when we get a different writer and a different artist. Now, we're going to get to that in a second, but let me finish getting through these comments. Kamoyo say, oh boy, would have been dead if that was me. If it were anybody else, Kamoyo, I know good and well. It is easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. Grand Madam say, I take issue with the non-kill, as do the vast majority of us. Anansi said, T'Challa should have put the blade where it belongs. Again, you get no argument from me. Because that you got to be a special kind of fella not to want to eviscerate the person who did that to your mother. And maybe that's where they got that from in Civil War. When he's like, the living are not finished with you yet. You know what I'm saying? So maybe somebody read Panther's Quest and was like, oh, he did heinous acts to T'Challa's mother, and T'Challa didn't kill him. So I guess we won't have him kill Zemo. Thank Don McGregor or thank Don McGregor? Yeah, he is known for putting the blade where it belongs. Well, if it's any consolation, at the end of this book, Ramonda punched him in the face. So there's that. See, Nancy feeling he and his fees about it. Like, see, that's that bull. He is a very imperfect character when it comes to that, especially 70s and 80s, because you got Don McGregor in the 70s, and that was the definitive. Then you got Jack Kirby. I don't think what Jack Kirby did with T'Challa was terrible. I just think people were past Jack Kirby's style of storytelling in 76, 77. And he didn't really need to be helming no books, let alone doing the writing and drawing. You John Byrne, you are not Jack. You the king, but you ain't like John Byrne. John Byrne can draw it and tell the story and do a fabulous job doing it. But that didn't happen here in Panther's Quest, because I feel like the story could have been much better if they'd had a different artist. But back in the 80s, late 80s, Gene Colan was still getting work. after 20-something years, and people were still enjoying his static art. I like Panther's Quest. I don't love Panther's Quest. When we say best Black Panther story of all time, that ain't Panther's Quest. Because of the art, because of the ending. Because to have him go through all of that for it to not pay off with somebody's grisly death, I don't get it. T'Challa's durability feels like Don got it from the old Conan, Solomon Kane, Cole the Conqueror books. Absolutely. Don McGregor, during the Jungle Action run, had T'Challa crucified. All three characters that you have mentioned at one point or another have been crucified and lived through it. Some of them more than once. Theo, you finally made it. After I'm like almost halfway finished talking about Panther's Quest. Now, what Marvel did with Disney, they took the name Panther's Quest and made it into an entirely different story. Yeah, we got Panther's Quest, but when you say Panther's Quest, this is what I think about when you say Panther's Quest. Him up in the tree in South Africa, waiting to get at South African soldiers, creeping around, getting caught up, and you know what I'm saying? It should be a quest. You know what I mean? The quest was to find his mother, who again, like I said, we later found out, or rather they retconned it for Ramonda to be his stepmother and not his mother. Because in 1988, all we knew was Ramonda. In 1990, all we knew was Ramonda. You know what I'm saying? Ramonda's his mother. Ramonda. Yami is his biological mama. So I get it. And the retcon was neat. It wasn't a messy retcon. You know what I'm saying? She died in childbirth, right? So, yeah, we can have the stepmom slide on in there and be everything to you. Yeah. So, overall, Panther's Quest is Panther's Quest. Right? And we got what we got out of it. It's still Don McGregor. Don McGregor is still invited to the barbecue. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not gonna hate on Don because he didn't knock it out the park. Because he did show enough respect, and he did in them pencils, man. In Jungle Action is just man. That Monica Lynn in a swimsuit. Billy Graham, you won. Monica Lynn in a swimsuit. Billy Graham, you won. And Don McGregor also did Panther's Prey. And Panther's Prey was a great story. Now, you want to talk about kink? There was utter kink in Panther's Prey because there was so much freaky stuff going on. And the chick was, oh, let me touch them wings. And, ooh, I want to do it like this. And, ooh, tell me you're going to kill T'Challa. Yeah. That's Panther's Prey. Panther's Prey is also where we found out Taku and Venom was a couple. And Taku came out rocking an outfit that was like, had you like, nah, dog, this is 80. This the 80s, dog. You can't wear that outfit no more. That outfit looked like drag. You know what I'm saying? But I have a video series that I have done on Panther's Prey, where we talk about Solomon Prey. Solomon Prey is a good villain. I think Solomon Prey needs to come back some kind of way because he was evil for evil's sake, as Paul Martin says sometimes. And we enjoy villains who are evil for evil's sake. Now, Well, 45 minutes. Dang, I took 45 minutes. I'm getting ready to talk about 4 books together. So y'all get ready to get on for the ride. This where we at. Unless y'all have something else y'all wanted to add about Panther's Quest. Kamoyo said it was going down in Panther's Prey. It was. Shoot, T'Challa came over to Monica's apartment and was feeling all on her like, hey, I'm horny. We gonna do this. And oh, stop, wait, you ain't been around for so long, but oh, I love your Panther style. So they did it. I'm telling you, people was doing it during Panther's Prey. I think Solomon Prey and that crazy chick, I think they did it like 2 times, 2, maybe 3 times over the course of the story. It was a 4-issue story. Man, they love giving T'Challa them little 4-issue story arcs. Speaking of 4-issue story arcs, also took place in 1988. Like I say, 1988 was a good year for T'Challa. This book started in 88 and issue 13 through 37 that continued on through 89, I think is when that story wrapped up. Late 88 or 89 is when we finally got the last issue of it. But anyway, this came out in 88 proper. And it was a 4-issue limited series about, yes, you know who, T'Challa. This was a return to the original look for T'Challa's habit. And I, for one, liked it. So a couple things I liked about this miniseries. Number one, this miniseries is done by one of my most favorite artists of all time, the Dennis Cowan. I'm friends with Dennis Cowan on Facebook. X. Friends with Dennis Cowan on X. His pencils, for some reason, just did it for me. The action sequences in these books are great. If you do not own this 4-issue miniseries, it's actually pretty affordable. As I sit here and look on mycomicshop.com, a mint condition issue 1 is only $10. Issue 2 is $8.50. Issue 3 is $7.50, and issue 4 is $8. So you get all 4 of them books in pretty good condition for under $35. You should. It's a great series. Now, I just give you a brief synopsis of each issue, and this is how it went down. Okay, issue 1, A Hero No More. All right, Peter Gillis wrote this story. It is a pretty decent story. It takes place in the 80s, and he didn't have any problem mentioning apartheid. Now, if you Generation X or a baby boomer, you are very well aware of what apartheid is, how it went down, how it effing sucked for people in South Africa. But as we know, the worm turns. And T'Challa's, he's out and about on a safari. And he gets attacked by Black Panthers. Because this is the issue, this is the one where he tackles another rhino. And this rhino that he tackles in this book is heavier than the one he tackled in Jungle Action. Make note of that. It's gonna be important later. Now, these Panthers attack the Black Panther. What? Say it ain't so. T'Challa got attacked by Black Panthers? If Black Panthers are attacking the Black Panther, ooh, that's a bad omen. Maybe he shouldn't be king no more. And this is where we get to meet Mindinau. And Mindinau is a counselor, similar in the, vein of Zawavari. I'm trying to give good advice, but you ain't helping because you getting attacked by Black Panthers. What you want me to do? And the people are like they always do. It don't take much to get Wakandans up and angry and in arms. Oh, maybe he shouldn't be king anymore. Let's just all get together and ask for him to abdicate the throne. Why must it always be these damn stories all the time with T'Challa? Why we always talk about his throne? Long story short, there is a creature that looks like a lycanthropic panther going around killing troops that are committing atrocities in the name of apartheid. Basically, if the Black Panther ain't gonna do it, then I will. On to issue number 2, which I think we all are familiar with. Enter the supremacists. Now, in response to this panther creature attacking Azanian soldiers, Azania, by the way, is this South African country or this apartheid country near Wakanda that T'Challa and the people have been hearing so much about. And T'Challa, why don't you go in there and do something about that, all that apartheid stuff? You know we ain't feeling that. We Wakanda. We supposed to be better than this. Maybe. But what ends up going down is Azania gets their top superhumans to go to Wakanda, basically, and wreck shop. Now, this group of superhumans is incredibly similar to what could be a South African Justice League, because the strongest character on that squad is called, wait for it, the White Avenger. I'm going to let that sink in. And that's him right there in the red and white. You are a South African superhuman called the White Avenger. Well, T'Challa makes short work of this team. I mean, for them to be, because they came to Wakanda, just pulled up, started wrecking stuff, lifting whole trees, picking up people and throwing them around and wrecking shop. And T'Challa pulls up handily and deals with them. All 6 of them. Easy. It looked easy. He made it look easy. It looked easy in the book. T'Challa is under the impression that since the Panthers attacked him, has Bast abandoned me? But even with that doubt, even not being 100% sure if Bass is still with him, he takes on superhuman beings and beats them. T'Challa's agility and skill are on full display in this issue, taking on these cats. Now, and he also uses strategy and makes them use their powers against one another. Because one of those guys is the guy in the back in the green. His name is Hunger. And his power is the ability to drain powers from other people. Rather than get caught up with Hunger, he just socked Hunger, wrapped Hunger up in some wire, and took Hunger, whoop, whoop, threw him at the White Avenger. That depowered the White Avenger. So not only was he using speed and skill, he was using strategy. He strategized a way to defeat the supremacists. Wakanda liked that. They liked that a lot. But they were still, before this happened, they were like, well, the only reason this happened is because of T'Challa. And T'Challa, he's always having people coming here messing with us. We don't like that. So we're going to ask T'Challa to step down. So, and T'Challa, he came in, heard him talking like, I ain't even going to talk to them. Now, in issue 3, because the supremacists got their asses handed to them, Azania just is like, F it, we just gonna send a nuclear bomb at Wakanda and blow it up. I guess during that time, Wakanda didn't have them shields. Anyway, T'Challa ends up infiltrating Azania, beating up their military, and managing to avert a nuclear holocaust in Wakanda. And because he averts a nuclear holocaust in Wakanda, the Wakandans are like, T'Challa, he's our man. If he can't do it, then we in trouble because ain't no other superhuman beings in Wakanda circa 1988. Which brings us to the finale, issue 4. T'Challa has to battle Bast herself, or himself, or themselves in this case. Because if you look at that creature that's accosting T'Challa in that picture, that doesn't look like a female being. Now, T'Challa uses all of his technology and all of his strategy. He even goes back to the old technological jungle that he used on the Fantastic Four against Baz. It didn't work. Basically, Baz made T'Challa say uncle, as Baz should be able to make T'Challa say uncle. None of the tricks, none of the strategy, none of the things he did fared well against Baz, and he was completely at Baz's mercy, and that's all he could do was throw himself on Baz's mercy and apologize for not being diligent. And if you give me another chance, he didn't say if you give me another chance, but he said he was sorry. And I guess Baz was like, I'm going to give you another chance. Don't F up no more, or I'm going to come see you again. And he remained T'Challa, the king of Wakanda. Now, what I like most about this story, this 4-issue miniseries, first of all, I like the art of Dennis Cowan. Like I said to y'all, this was a dope run, and it looked dope. I liked the way it looked. It was drawn well. Peter Gillis's story which centered around apartheid, I liked because that was brave for the time, that people sort of like how James Gunn is addressing political issues indirectly with his projects. So Peter Gillis took this story, and there's a lot going on where you see the actual atrocities being committed, where there are people, they're getting angry and they're raising up and they're standing in front of soldiers, and the soldiers just mow them down. And that was what it was like. Bass was trying to get T'Challa to understand that the people are crying out because of this injustice, and you are a protector. You are supposed to be protecting them, not sitting on your throne in Wakanda going, mm. And that's probably the day T'Challa realized, I ain't just the protector of Wakanda. I'm the protector of all of Africa. T'Challa needs some more superhuman beings to pull up and help him with that task, because he don't want to get towed up like that by Bass no more. Because, I mean, she was showing no mercy whatsoever. Like, she was out to unalive the chosen one. But all in all 4 issues are a good read. Issue 1 is kind of storytelling and unpacking. Issue 2, all out action, just lots of action. Issue 3, it's more of an espionage mission, because first he ends up in France, and he's talking to this undercover agent, and he don't know if and it's a female, and her name is Malika, which I know in Swahili means angel, but she's anything but you know, T'Challa ends up macking her, and and she ends up helping, and that's how he ends up getting into Azania and infiltrating, so that he can prevent that warhead from landing in Wakanda and blowing everybody he knows into pieces. Hey, Gray. Dang. Yeah. Wait a second, Mario. Bass was whipping feet. Yeah, she touched him everywhere except put it on him. Put paws on him. Literally. And again, his nice little habit got tore up. Yeah. That is exactly what went down in that 4-issue miniseries. I like that 4-issue miniseries. I can't express to you guys enough how much I like that 4-issue miniseries. I have videos on that 4-issue miniseries. I have videos on Panther's Prey, that 4-issue miniseries. I don't think I've done a video on Panther's Quest yet, but we can fix that. Now, y'all, you tell me how y'all felt about Panther's Quest and the 1988 4-issue miniseries by Peter Gillis and the Dennis Cowan. Not rhetorical. I want to hear from you. Tell me how you felt about it. What did you think of the story? Did you think the story was great because it was Don McGregor, or did you not like the story because the art was by Gene Colan? What about this miniseries right here? Which issue did you enjoy the most? Issue 1, where we got issues with the throne and we might have to get rid of you. Issue 2, where he fights the South African Justice League. Issue 3, intrigue and espionage from France to Azania with love. Or issue 4, Bass, I'm about to whoop yo Because that's specifically, specifically, yeah, specifically what happened. Anansi said mother cat was scolding her kitten. Come over here for a second. I want to talk to you. Yeah, she grabbed him by the scruff of his neck. She definitely grabbed him by the scruff of his neck. Anansi say that BP-88 story sounds interesting. I'll have to track it down. This miniseries or Panther's Quest, because they both started in 88. 88 was the year of the Panther. Yeah, that is what I said. That is exactly what I said. Theo said he liked number two. Number two of that 80, the supremacists. He handled them. He handled them. He handled them. Said I liked both stories and the mini. I just wish they were all longer. That will require somebody to give T'Challa a monthly. Because, see, you think this is long, but it's not, because it occurred these are the covers, because they also had stuff on the front and the back. See all the characters that got showcased in Marvel Presents? Nomad, Speedball, Shauna, Marvel Girl, Red Wolf, Longshot, Kazar. These are all side stories that occurred with the Colossus story, but then the Colossus story ended, and then we got a Cyclops story. But our guy persevered on through all these issues, even with Cyclops. See him back there, boom. See him up here, boom. So he ran all through that series. Still, see that? But you know what I'm saying? If in each issue, everything that went on in each issue was only like maybe like 6-7 pages, maybe a little more, but it was a regular monthly comic, so it was not a full story in each of these. But kept popping up. Kept popping up. Kept popping up. You know what I'm saying? Kept popping up. Kept popping up. That it was a run, man. I enjoyed Marvel Comics Presents. It's not every day you get to see, because see, some of these characters ain't even around no more. Cold Blood. Who is Cold Blood? I ain't never heard of him. And his story ran. Remember Lier? The god of lightning, the Celtic god of lightning. If you got a god of lightning and a god of, never mind. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. This is, if you want to go back and collect Panther's Quest the hard way, that's the way to do it. And then we got a double-sized conclusion in 37, which was the last issue of Panther's Quest. Yeah, you liked it? Yeah, I like it too. I wish it was longer too. I really do. They could. There's so much they could have got out of that book. But what I wanted to point out, the rhino. That was a 10,000-pound rhino he took down in issue 1 of that miniseries. 10,000 pounds. And he may or may not have had his full power doing so. Because right after he took that rhino down, he got attacked by Black Panthers. Something to think about. Kamayo said, I would love to see a Black Panther animated with these stories. Obviously, adult animation a la DC Comics. Kamayo's the Nazi thinks that's a great idea. Make a whole bunch of Black Panther movies based off his comic storylines. Can you see them making an animated feature called Black Panther versus the Ku Klux Klan? If you want to stir up controversy, if you want to draw attention to the name of T'Challa, to the name of the Black Panther, pull that story out of Jungle Action. I would love to see it because you get a few things. You get Monica Lynn. You get the Ku Klux Klan. You get the Dragon Circle. You get Wind Eagle. And you get the Soul Strangler. That would be a great animated feature. Also, the earlier issues of Panther's Rage with Eric Killmonger, Somber, King Cadaver, Salamander Crew. That whole storyline lends itself to something animated. And if you wanted to make a Black Panther anime, boom, Panther's Rage, right there. So much, we always say, there's so much meat on the bone with T'Challa. Solomon Prey! And we ain't even got to Christopher Priest, Reginald Hudlin stuff. Do a Marvel Knights animated movie. Him, Daredevil, Punisher, Elektra, or Black Widow, however you want to do it. I'd rather see Elektra. But hey, whatever woman y'all want to throw in there. Don't seem like they put much thought into that. I would love to see a Black Panther animated series. The look of Black Panther, it just lends itself to animated features. Kamoyo, Cold Blood was a whiter Deathlock. I mean, I know who he was, but I'm like, he ain't around no more. There's a bunch of characters in there. Let me see. In this little mini series, let me see how many characters, other than Cold Blood, who ain't around or you don't hear much of. Nomad. Shauna the She-Devil, we don't see as much. Red Wolf. Long Shot. Damage Control. They had an actual Damage Control story. Clea even had a solo story in here. Paladin. What's Paladin doing right now? Star Fox. Y'all just left him hanging in the MCU, huh? We don't want to see him. Shamrock. What happened to Shamrock? We got too many people whose power is being lucky. We got Domino. We got Long Shot. We don't need Shamrock. Luck is overrated. Get rid of it. Wills. I don't know who Wills is. Ursa Major even had a solo story in Marvel Presents. The Nth Man. The Nth Man had a whole comic book. What happened to him? American Eagle. What happened to him? Triton with a solo story. And like I said, Lier, the god of lightning, why not? Sunfire with a solo story. Sunfire, I like Sunfire. Sunfire is one of the more likable characters, even though he's not likable. Her. Interesting. No, what? I don't know what's going on with her. Hellcat and Devil Slayer. I think I just named off like a good 6-7 characters that's not around no more, but why? That's a video for another day. They will call Black Panther woke. Everything's woke now. But the Democrats are doing stuff. Maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. They turned Shamrock into the Shamrock Shake at McDonald's. Okay. Okay. Love to see her, though. It would be nice to see her again. I remember when she first made her debut in Contest of Champions. Well, y'all, did y'all get more information out of this than you thought you were going to get? Did I speak on things that you guys are probably going to want to go back and look and double check? Because I always tell people, okay, edutainment is edutainment, but you can check out the facts for yourself. If you want to go and pick up Marvel Comics Presents, which I am sure is in some sort of trade paperback format or omnibus, that is a great way to get the pure reader appeal of Panther's Quest. Because when I read it originally, I didn't have an entire tome to pour over. It was every month. Okay, I'm looking for the Black Panther story. Next month, I don't know what's going on. I'm looking for the Black Panther story. Every month, I'm looking for the Black Panther story. And that was it. I went through and I don't have them anymore, but I had every single issue of Marvel Comics Presents issue 13. Actually, I have more than 13 through 37. I started collecting it from issue 1 when they had Wolverine on the cover and he was doing his patch thing in Madripoor and all of that. And Tiger, what's her name? Tiger. And yeah, that whole storyline. Blood Scream and Blood Sport and Rough House. They were in the story too. So yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot going on in that Marvel comic book. And I remember this one book about this creature called the Fear Eater. And it was in a couple of issues. And if you got afraid, it could get inside of your brain and manipulate you and mess with you. And it got inside of the Silver Surfer, and the Silver Surfer was, like questioning himself and all this other kind of stuff. And eventually he found his courage and got, and drove the Fear Eater out. And the Fear Eater went down to Earth and was like, I need to find somebody to get into and possess real quick so I can make them scared. He found Matt Murdock and died. Because as we all know, Matt Murdock is the man without fear. Because when he got in him, and Matt was like, "Oh, I felt something, and I don't know what that was, but yeah, it's gone now." So yeah, fear, all kind of stuff like that, all through Marvel Comics presents little side stories like that. But it's a good read. It's a good read. I think it ran for like 125 issues, something like that. I used to have all those individual issues of Marvel Comics presents for that Black Panther storyline too. I mean, it was some good stories in Marvel Comics present, but yeah, I'm like, oh, y'all got a Black Panther story? Yeah, count me in. Grand Madam say, yes, I'm going to find them on eBay. If there's a Marvel Comics presents omnibus, that could save you the trouble, definitely. But it is an excellent book and it is an excellent run, both of them. I recommend that you read them for nothing else other than to be up on your Black Panther history. So when somebody get at you and say, oh, you think you know so much about the supremacists? Yeah, you can go read that book and tell them how T'Challa whooped the supremacist ass. And that's why we ain't really seen too much more of the supremacists after that, because it's like, y'all got beat up by the Black Panther. No, y'all got beat up by the Black Panther. Look here, y'all. It has been an hour 20. I am in. I am done. I have told y'all everything I need to tell you, other than tune in tomorrow evening, same real time, same real channel, Thursdays live, where I pour over issues, social issues, and I pour over issues, comic book issue. The new Black Panther, the new Ultimate Black Panther's out, the new Speed Racer's out. And there are a couple of other new books. So next week's Wednesday deep dive is gonna be about some new stuff. But I might drop one. I might drop one for sure. But y'all make sure, man, y'all pull up. I'm gonna be talking about I finally watched it, chapter 1 and 2. And I am up on Welcome to Derry. So we're going to be talking about Welcome to Derry. Did y'all know that Stephen King has a whole entire connected universe? Just like the MCU? Shh, don't say nothing. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. Look here, y'all. I appreciate everybody that pulled up. My man Anansi, the lovely Grand Madam, my brother Theo, Gray, I said Anansi, didn't I? Yeah, Anansi. Anansi was in here first. All right. Shouts out to everybody. Kamoyo, my man. Y'all make sure y'all pull up tomorrow evening for Thursday Live. That's it for now. But fret not, I'll be coming at you with another one of them other ones. Y'all be good. Y'all be good to each other. I am sideways.